Good evening, fellow Liberians residing in Indianapolis. Today, I want to recognize our religious leaders, the administration, the board, the EC, and all well-meaning Liberians residing in Indiana. As the process of conducting elections has been carried out in this community, we accepted the challenge that we are the underdogs in this process. You have all witnessed the personal attack against us based on our age, tribe, country of origin, sex, skin color. We are even being called rebels and criminals. New to the community, you never attended any of our cookout events, you don't sound Liberian, your name does not sound Liberian, you don't look Liberian. We have remained sober and calm, even though our calmness has been interpreted as weakness, numbness, and dumbness. We're in the light of abiding by the process to exercise our right to civility and peacefulness, requested the board to address irregularities and conflict of interest the Election Commission exhibited in these processes. The board, in our meeting with the EC, advised us against making claims that the EC was biased in these processes, even though the facts are glaring. Our concern was brought to light when Mr. Julius Parker referenced a specific communication between ourselves and that of the EC. We were prepared for the moment as to how it is possible that these personal communications have been referenced. The board came to the defense of the EC and argued that it was done in the light of transparency. Meanwhile, Logan have never received any communication from the EC where the sender or the recipient of these communications were from the Parker camp. To this effect, we have requested all communication between the EC, Tim Parker, the board, but we are yet to receive these communications. Because we believe the same level of transparency that the board talked about should be accorded to us, because we are a party in these elections. In the light of the information sharing and transparency that we have been denied during the EC vetting process, the famous attendance list that was used to deny candidates and accept candidates were requested, so as to be thorough in presenting new candidates as the slots were reopened for people who were denied. To our greater disappointment on the integrity of the EC, we received 5 pages as the attendance listing that was used to qualify and disqualify candidates. Of those 5 pages, wasn't considered was the last meeting of September 18. The remaining 4, 2 of each carry the same dates, but with different listings. We are confused, Mr. Commissioner. How do we have 2 attendance lists with the same dates? How is it even possible? How can February 13, how can February 23rd, 2020 have two sets of attendant listing? How can December 15, 2019 have two sets of attendant listing? Mind you, these were the only records presented to us that the EC claimed to have used to qualify people. Interestingly, if we go by this listing, there's only one candidate that is qualified, and that is Mr. Morris Ward. There is no candidate in these elections that has 3 attendants, according to these listings. We made further inquiry with the EC as to how could this be. In their response, the chairperson of the commission argued that he used other methodologies to qualify people. When further asked, he claimed that he made calls to people who were in the know of these meetings. Interestingly, we reached out to the administration, who denied every attempt. And the EC never contacted them. So we are yet today wanting an answer from the EC. How did you qualify people? To this effect, it proves our point that the EC is biased. Because if the EC cannot give us records on which people were qualified, that tells us the EC, the commissioner chair, used his own regulations. To this effect, we are calling on the immediate resignation of the chairperson of the Elections Commission. We believe he lacks the integrity to steer us through these processes. We believe he does not have the credibility to move further. And until that happens, we at FoP have decided we will not be involved with any electioneering process from this election commission until the chairperson steps down. And we want to go back to the process of reevaluating every candidate, because these cannot be and will not be the basis on which candidates are qualified. Fellow Liberians, I want to take a moment and allow you to make a judgment. Why would personal communications to the EC be in the possession of Tim Parker? Why would the EC qualify candidate based on 3 pages of attendance records that does not qualify anybody else but Morris Gua? But 3 of our candidates were initially disqualified. We believe the chairperson of the commission cannot steer the affairs of these elections. It is saddening because we have tried everything possible to be civil, to stay calm. Even though we are the younger ones, but we chose to be the bigger persons. We have absorbed the attacks, the name calling, the discrimination, the issue of tribalism, and everything, because we want a peaceful community that we can all live in together. On this note, I want to say you have a peaceful night. God bless you. I thank you.
Shout it, baby. Take on. my single mother. Should be jubilating, come be some feeling Logan. Do the real blessing like coming for the people. I'll be getting my feeling Logan coming. I'll be getting when I see feeling coming. I'll be getting my feeling Logan coming. Position getting when the king of the jungle not around, all the KK dollar can be around profit. I feel it coming with force. Reuniting you, advocating for the poor. We salute you with the power to the people. There's a feeling Logan, that you be the hero on Indiana land. No more can stand. The people live on our bad spirit. Make politicians them, they can open the skin. What I pay for you, buy you can having people them, plenty people selling and tear on the land. So I'll be getting I feel it Logan coming. I'll be getting when I see feeling coming. I'll be getting I feel it Logan coming. Position getting
Don't give way. Don't give way to G-Fele. Don't open for Fele. They whisper he will kill it. They may too scared for him. What he coming with the whole place. I see no opposition. I see no competition. The championship for Fele. Indiana nyo be down be pa Fele. The pow. Imbason nyo be down be full Fele. Full mother. All the elders Fele ready layer. Sons are new nyo be one when he will bring you together. He there for children play.
Fele looking coming. I'll be getting like Yvonne Smith coming. I'll be getting Amore Kua coming. I'll be getting Mama Kimenji coming. I'll be getting Bonnet Ava coming. I'll be getting I'll be getting my Pele Logan coming. I'll be getting when I see Pele coming. I'll be getting
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on which part of the world you are. That was the powerful press conference from Team Logan. And we want to say a very big thank you to our press secretary, Mr. Bernard Buble. And before we go any further, we would love to bring our crew members in. They are all seated in the waiting room. I can see Tough Talking, Brainy Alpha. I see Professor Pele in the background. I see my dear friend, brother Frank Trop. And I can see Mr. G. Von Smith and Mr. Bernard Buple also here. So let's bring everybody in one at a time. You know, Professor, I will be first, so I hope I just do that. How you doing, Professor?
Good evening, fellas. I'm so sad right now.
Yeah, that's it. That's a
Yeah.
Liberian story. And our dear brother and friend, Frank Trop, you are muted. How you doing, Frank?
I'm fine, guys. Thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure being here. And I
Alrighty.
say hi to everyone.
Thank you
I've
so
been
Thank
much.
looking
you. At least
forward
you
to
got
this.
your voice back.
I know, the voice is not fully restored, but it's much better. Thank you.
Much
That's
better.
that's it.
Mhm.
And our sister, Brittany Alpha, the only woman I get fan in Liberia.
Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing tonight?
We are all
You're
doing
fine,
good.
We're
fine.
good. We're
And I
good.
got a man who always in the call, Mr. Javon Smith. Javon, are you there? Javon, are you there? All right, maybe Javon in the car again. There you have it. We can hear you, Javon. You're
You're full
muted.
muted. Yeah.
You are muted, Javon. We cannot hear you. All right, try again. All right, Javon, try again. See. All right, I think Brittany went off. Brittany and Javon will come back, and we have been joined by the powerful press secretary, Mr. Bernard Buple.
Good evening, everyone. It's a
Yes,
pleasure
sir,
being
Brother
on the show
Trevor.
to share my thoughts with you guys today. I don't normally come online, but when there are burning issues with our community, I show up. I don't like to be like everybody else, just all over the place saying stuff. When you see me, wish me, it's important, and I come on firing on all cylinders.
Thank you, Mr. Buple. So we got our sister here, Brittany Affa. Brittany.
I'm having technical difficulties tonight. Excuse me.
Mm.
All right, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay. I have Javon Smith right there now. Javon, I can hear you now because from the breeze from your car, we know I know you can hear us. Yeah.
I would
Thank
just like to say hi to everyone. Good
yeah.
evening. We are where we at is late right now. Good evening to everyone. Is we have issues we're going to be discussing, uh,
Mm-hmm.
and some of these issues have to be addressed. You know, we cannot always sit back and be afraid to
Mm-hmm.
stay against issues because at the end of the day, we are also enablers by our silences.
Yep.
So all Liberians we underneath our voice, or interested parties, we underneath our voice. It's time for us to speak up, say something. It's our community, and only us can stand up for it.
You are right. So tonight we have the crew here with their son, Mr. and Sister Hawa Kilima. So I know all of you listened to the press conference, and that came from the press secretary tonight. So we're just going to just throw some light on the press conference and throw some light on issues that we know that some of the malpractices, the election irregularities, and just if you listen to the press conference, and we just get up 2 cents on the press conference. So we'll start with the professor first.
Thank you so much, Philip. It was really disheartening to listen to that message about a community that we're trying to form as one. We are now in election season, but does not change the fact that we are one people. So for the easy that we have regarded in such high integrity to come across with such frivolous move is really sad. We witness these things years after years in our own country. We are in another land and we say we want to make different, but it's just the same old monkey black hand. You know how the Christmas is going to be from the Eve.
Mm-hmm.
You already started having no transparency. What will you do on election day? It's really sad that we cannot depend on the EC that's supposed to steer us through transparency and peaceful election. It's not called for. And the board saw this coming. You know, our people always say, what an older person sees sitting down, a young person would never see standing up.
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of discrepancies that the board saw for which it gives it advisory and said, let everybody partake. You don't have all the data you need to back up your qualifications. So let everybody run this time. And next time when you have, the data that you need, then you can operate from that standpoint. But the EC formulated her ground. I don't even know how she came by that. If she was the one going by rules and regulations, how could she miss all these things about people who weren't qualified? How come? I know the chairman doesn't wear glasses. We could have given him a little pad for wearing glasses. Maybe he didn't see it, or he might not have pointed it out to the team. But of 5 person on the team, nobody could catch the part that people who were not qualified were being taken on. I don't want to believe it. I believe it was a pure bias on the part of the EC, and that is very sad for a small community like this. It is very sad.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you so much, Professor Pele. So before I go to my brother Frank Trop, like probably you just coming on, you don't know what she was talking about. But the election commissioners, the documents they use to qualify candidates, during the last meeting we had on Sunday, they were asked to share those documents with the both camp. And the election commissioner sent the secretary sent email to our camp and sent email to the Packers camp. And surprisingly, the document we have from the election commissioners, document 1 here, it have 12/15/2019. And the only person on this document who's qualified, one person attended the meeting, is Mr. Richard Boya. The second document is sent has 12/15/2019. And those that are running, only 2 people named on here, that is Morris Gore and Julius Parker. The third document here have February 23rd, 2020. And only 3 names on here. You have Fatima 4 names. You have Fatima family, Morris Gore, Philip Logan, and Mata Ball. The 4th document here they sent is what? February 23rd, 2020. So it means 2 documents have February 23rd, 2 documents have December 15th. And on this one, you have Philip Logan, Mata Ball, Willer Williams, Morris Gore, Horty Palmer. So this document here that talks about September 18, we are not using it because they scratched this out. So it means that the election commissioners only use 4 papers that have the 2 dates to qualify all of the candidates. We asked the election commissioner chairperson, and he said that he used other methodology. And few of those, he called people in the administration. So who are those people that he called in the administration? The news reaching my desk, somebody told me the people who are confirming people who attended the meeting, they are Jan Volule and Fatima Famule. So we need more clarity on this. Let's hear from you, Mr. Frank Trop.
All right. I think what I saw in our chat room, that we had all these irregularities. I think one of the things I wanted to find out was, just like our sister just said, there has to be a metrics that is used, and that metrics has to be universal. Because if we're all talking about change and we're talking about transparency, the same way you're dealing with people on the left is the same way you deal with people on the right. You don't deal with people on the left using one metrics, and you come on the right and deal with people using another metrics. So that's why I asked, did they say which criteria was used? And so we need to have them on record saying that this and this criteria was used. You see, we need to have them on, because time is of essence right now. So let them say for certain. If they say, okay, no, because we did not have sufficient information, so we had to reach out to people to solicit information, then why is it that was not relayed to this other party so that we know what is being done? You see, in the absence of transparency, that's when you have people coming up with a lot of theories. As long as you're not transparent, sometimes you may have done something. You might have taken the right approach, But because you have done it behind curtains that other people cannot see, and once people cannot see something, then you got a whole lot of interpretations coming up, and that is not good for what we have going on. So I don't know if it's possible again for them to provide us that information, because right now, as things stand, that is not right. They have not put us in a very good position. You see, and sometimes it can almost be like how, when you used to be in school, when somebody cause trouble, you who retaliate, you the one that people always look at, because you are the last one to act, and we don't want it to be like that. We don't want people looking at it like we're the one as the troublemakers. No, because we are the victims here. So the commission should not put us in a position, in an uncompromising position. Let me say it that way. So if it is possible, I don't know if it's, I know you've been reaching out to them,
Mhm.
but if it's possible, we need to know based upon what metrics that they took the decision that they took.
Thank you so much, Frank. So before I go to Brittany, so it's the same question. Frank said it right. We have to know the matters. We have to know. Whoever person in administration that they called to verify who were in meeting and who never attended meeting, we need to know. We are parties into this election, because you can use 4 papers and only 4 papers. I'm not even qualified. I have 2 meeting records. Julius Parker have 1 meeting record. Robert Carey have none. Horty Palmer have 1. Jevan Smith have 1. So they have to explain to us. So who are those that they call it in the administration to tell them who qualify and who don't qualify? Brandy's, let's hear from you.
Yeah, so it's it's kind of disheartening that we're right back where we began. The problem is people talk and say they want transparency, but when you start questioning to get the transparency you need, then you don't want to follow the rules. You don't want to abide by the law. The other team said it themselves. Many of times we've all heard them follow the Constitution. What did they tell us on Sunday? They follow the Constitution. What will happen?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody will qualify. They modified it when it's okay with the other team, they are fine. When we have a question, then we're being troublemakers or we're coming to the front just to start issues. We want transparency, we want honesty, and we will demand it as Liberians of this community. You will not be able to tell us anything and we'll just settle for it and say, oh, we fine with it. No, because we've had plenty of discussion. Not once did it come up that they wasn't going by the list. They were going by other methods. That was not told to us. Even with the first meeting we had, they said we went by the list. The list is what they use to vet everyone. There's the list. Both teams have it. So let's see if the other team will do what they say, what they are standing for, transparency as well. So they have to come out and do what's right. And this is where you show true leaders. You will be able to come out and say, I understand my people, they are right. They were cheated, so was everybody else. Because as you can see, when the list comes out, who qualifies? So let's see if Team Parker would do the right thing as well and see and tell the people of Indiana that they are trying to represent as well the truth. The truth will always set you free, and you will not have to come back and backpedal on what you said. And we are here to show what true transparency is. We will bring to our people and our community the information that needs to be brought to them and needs to be handled. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brandy. Thank you so much for that. So we will go to Javon Smith. Javon, are you there?
Yes.
Yes, I guess you've been listening. So just get the ball rolling.
Yeah, I would like to piggyback off of my sister Brandy's right there. Her calling on Team Parker to do what is right. We'll look forward towards that, but I would not put a bet on it, not even a cent, because we are seeing through the same group are the ones that call us criminals. It's the same group that call young people in this community rebels. It's the same group that use all kinds of means to try to intimidate everyone in this process. And like our press secretary said, Mr. Boble said, don't take our calmness as a means that we are numb, we are dumb, or we are weak. We are not. We have followed the process. When we had an issue, we wrote the board. We requested from the board. The issue of attendance records, I don't qualify based on our list that the EC presented.
No one is
And that
qualified.
that listing, even in years, the surprising part. There's a reason why I think the EC been holding this list from us. Because I remember through a passing communication at sometime October, the beginning of this month, I said, hey, would it be a prudent thing to share this list with everybody? We'll just let it go. And then on the 16th, which was on Sunday, the board with the EC president or the EC said they're going to share this list with everybody. We did not receive this list until yesterday, which was Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
That's 3 days for an email you already have that you could just forward. How do you guys expect us to keep following this process? Ironically, we have 4 females, 4 women on our side. Gets denied. Why? We'll talk about women empowerment. Or are they too powerful? Is this kind of macho thing we're afraid of? Or the other side is afraid of? That when women step up, who are capable, that if we play equality, not based on your sex, that will be fully challenged. That is what we want on our team. That's what we want for our community. We want to have encouragement out there for our women, for our young girls, for our daughters, our sisters. That your capability does not matter. It's not based on your sex. It's based on your intelligence. What you're able to bring to the table. For women, what is the EC wanting from them? Favors? I mean, let them come out and say it. This is disheartening. Okay? We cannot all remain silent just for the sake of peace. The lack of punishment is what makes people emboldened to keep doing wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Like children.
Mm-hmm.
They will test the limits. It's like water. You seek the path of least resistance.
Mm-hmm.
We knew what we were coming up against. We knew what was against us. Since we also already sent a communication to the board and all parties involved that for the sake of transparency, which the board brought up when we asked on Sunday, how was it possible that Mr. Parker would have detailed information about communication between, Mr. Trump and the EC? And the board, a member of the board said that it was because of the sake of transparency, they had a right to know. Okay, now we have rolled the dice. We requesting now. Don't we have the right to know? When will the communications be forwarded to us? What are they afraid of? What are they hiding? The process now, we were trying to operate in the spirit of unity. Now we're going to operate in the letter of unity. Everything will be scrutinized. Based on our list, I'm not qualified. If that's what it comes down to, then the EC disqualify me. That's it. I'm not asking for I'm not asking for favor. If we going to play by the high rules stand across the board to everybody. So that list out there, let them play by it. Let them stand by that list. If it's only one person qualifying the entire community based on the EC guidelines, let that one person stand.
It's true. I totally agree with you, Mr. Jeevan Smith. So before I get to our dynamic press secretary, Mr. Bernard Buple, Mr. Brookberg would just drive us through his press conference, just tell us a little about his press conference, then he can throw some light on what we are talking about. So we just at this point we will go to Mr. Bernard Buple to just
Okay. Yeah, okay. Good evening again. So, my press conference today summarizes everything that has been said on the show tonight. Mr. Jeremiah Saleh, a young man, was given an opportunity to serve his community. Sometimes when I see Floyd, I personally call him. I say, Jeremiah, this is not about which side of the divide you stand. Your success is my success because I'm a young person. When you succeed at this job, it gives rise to every other young person in this community to have a say, to have the trust of the people. Because if you conduct these elections and usher in a new administration, free, fair, and transparent, tomorrow you could even be given a seat on the board, the first young person, which will give rise to other young people like us to serve as election commissioner in 2 years when there is elections. As a personal friend, my heart bleeds. I am disappointed because when I accepted this job to speak on behalf of FoP, we had a conversation. He accused me of saying things I don't know anything about, and I told him I have not spoken yet. I know there is leaks in my account, and so when I do internal press conference, it get out there. So you heard something. But until I can ascertain all the fact, I can't accuse you of doing things. That's how quarters hear myself share thoughts. So my heart bleeds because I expect something of a higher standard from this young man as a representation of my generation. How can you qualify people based on your own thoughts and feelings? I don't want to give credence to the rumors in the community that he been bribed by the Parker camp, but sometimes it baffles me. Because if you knew you had all the flaws within your selection process, the board in its wisdom saw through the lenses of these issues and said to you guys, give everyone the opportunity to contest. You allow your ego to consume you. If you had listened to the voice of reasoning, to the wisdom of the elders, we wouldn't have been in this position today. It gives me the feeling to somehow want to accept the rumors that you have been bribed. Because that was the easiest decision to move forward. But you allow the people you work for to push you to the limits to reject the voice of reasoning. Our old people say, the things we don't see as young people at the top of the mountain, the elders see them while sitting on a mat. And I believe the bull saw these things way ahead because they had access to these records when we filed a complaint about our dissatisfaction. It is saddening. Personally, I'm in a state of bewilderment because the prosperity of my generation is something I stand on. As a champion of generation change, this is a slap in my face. How can my generation be trusted with such a sensitive thing again in this community? People are looking at the different lists and how many times we appear. The first thing I look at, how do you have two attendant listings with the scene dates? Two separate sets of signatures. It doesn't make sense. Were there two meetings held on February 23rd? No. Were there two separate meetings held on December 15, 2019? No. Were the lists manufactured after we asked to receive attendant records? It is a question that everybody residing in this community needs to ask. Assuming these lists are authentic, why isn't Morris Gore the only person on the ballot paper? Because that's what the list tells me. This list says Mr. Julius Parker attended one meeting. Why is he a presidential candidate? It also tells me that Mr. Logan attended two meetings. Why is he a presidential candidate? Why is Robert Kerry even on the ballot paper when he cannot be found on these papers? How? Allow me to understand, my brother. I call you brother because, like I told you the other day in our conversation, you were the first person to extend a handshake to me when I moved to Indiana. So before I get critical, I call you personally and talk about my disagreements, hoping that you will see wisdom. As a young man, ego will destroy you. That's why we at FoP are resolved, constant as the Northern Star. This election will go no further until you resign. You lack the credibility. Integrity is not in your DNA. I am disappointed, brother. To the board, we await your response. We communicated this morning about our feelings, our disagreements. You haven't even given us the opportunity to receive our acknowledgement of our communication. This is sad. This is very, very sad. Until we can go back to the drawing board, requalify our candidates on the basics of merits and not hearsay and not personal feelings. How can you call someone from the opposite, from who have chosen a side, to give you an informed decision on qualifying candidates? What does that tell you? How can you use Yan Vulule and Fatima Famule, who are both supporters of Parker Kian, as your reference in qualifying candidates? As a doctoral candidate, I'm confused because it's common wisdom. Forget wisdom, it's common sense. These people have a side. Their decisions or their information cannot be reliable. To my fellow community dwellers, this is our plan. You have seen us play the bigger person even though we are younger. It's because we believe in a civilized environment. We chose civility. We have sat back and watched the guys from the other side label us, say degrading things about us, push us to the limit. But because of our maturity in this process, we absorb the tolerance. Because that's what we are. A group of tolerant people. A group of mature people who have the best interest of this community, because we understand that at the end of the day, we need to unify everybody. Because one of our pillars say all Liberians involvement. If we start to burn the bridges today, how can we unify our people? This is why we cannot work with this commissioner. He served as a bad apple for our community. We not allow him to destroy what we are trying to build. No. That can be. We have reached out to the best minds in our community because we want the betterment of our community. So until you resign, election is on hold. We need a new chairman who will requalify our people, and we can move forward. Over to you, Mr. Logan.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mr. Bernard Boplet. So I told you before, being first secretary, it wasn't a mistake because he knows the issue, Mr. Boplet. And those of you following us, Mr. Boplet lay are very straight. And subsequently, we're going to post all of these lists, the attendance listing in the group chat. You as a person will go on there to verify what we have said here, that the election commissioners use the list that do not have even candidates that are qualified. And some of the other methods, according to the election commissioner, that he called people to verify people who went to the meeting 3 years ago. Because whoever is elected, you elected for 3 years. So somebody have to answer the phone and say, oh, 2019, she will not eat meeting. In this day and age, I am disappointed by this news. No wonder why this list, to have it, it was forever. And you know, what really had me disappointed to see some of the people who parading to be some of the brightest minds in this community. The former Secretary General and the person who took over subsequently. If you take over somebody's office or you taking over a position, you will request for all of the previous documents the person have worked with. How come? You parading that, oh, I was doing your position, I was doing your job. But how come you never corrected them before election? How come you never requested for all of documents that's supposed to be needed for election? How come? Going to meeting and taking down meetings? Is that all the work the secretary is supposed to do in this community? Mr. Election Commissioner Chairperson, we will answer you 30 minutes to the end of the show, my dear brother. We'll answer you shortly. These documents that were used, 4 papers that were used to qualify candidates, make no sense And whoever person they call to verify who went to meeting or never went to meeting, that is known and evolved, that is can never be used in any court. I know the election commissioner called him. He called him to make some clarities. We will give him the opportunity to do so. But I was going around my table again and speak to all of my panelists one more time. Then we'll open the line for people to call in, and we will have the views on this. But all of what we have here, it will be posted in the chat room. You can go there and verify it. And all of those who contesting, we have highlighted their names. So it's much easier for you to see. The document have February 23rd, 2020. Document have February 23rd, 2020. And document have December 15, 2019. December 15, 2019. How can you use the same dates to qualify people? Then you use the same documents that you do not find anybody else's name from the other camp and qualify them, and use the same document to disqualify other people. I want to know the yardstick you use. I want to know the method that you use. And we request that those people you call, or the entire commissioners call to qualify candidates, those names need to be posted, or we need to see those people you call. Are they from the administration? We have to verify them. Until then, sources have told us those people you call. Y'all cannot be a credible witness to testify who went to meeting or not, never went to meeting, because his side is clearly shown. Fatima Famole cannot, not because she was serving in the capacity to serve as secretary to the administration in the dying meeting. Y'all resigned long ago. So y'all have no record of who went to meeting or who never went to meeting. So I will turn over to you, our professor.
Ironically, Fati, who stepped in to help Yan, very unqualified to do the job also, but found herself in a position where she was burdened to help. That's a good thing. We applaud her for that. But when you step into an office that you have no idea about, one thing you can do for yourself is point out what has not been done, so that tomorrow the record will show. And because she did not do that, she found herself in the same boat with Yan Vulule. But guess what? That's the person that wants to run again as secretary. Ain't that something? The portion they gave you to handle, you could not even handle it. Now you want to run for a long term? Who's crazy enough to take that and let you have it? That's just a dome situation. I don't see how. I don't understand how. And for the EC to be the person that I met, he came across as a very intelligent young man who had a hair sitting right on his shoulders and knew what he wanted to do. But the first and foremost thing is your character. If you don't guide nothing in your life, you have to guide your integrity and your character. Because at the end of the day, when your name is called, that's the only thing that can speak for you. Why would he allow himself to be compromised in this way? I really cannot wait for him to come on the show to tell us why he would put himself in this position. Because we are calling for his resignation. He's not capable. And that's very sad, because we want the young people to take the reins. We want them to lead us into the future. But with this starting point, they leave us no option, no choice. I am really waiting for him to come and tell us what happened.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Speley. So, Frank Trop, let's hear from you.
Okay. Before I say what I want to say, the list that you read about the attendance of meetings, is there anything there for July 31st?
No. Only 2 dates. This one have February 23rd, 2020. This one have February 23rd, 2020. And the rest of these 2 years have December 15, 2019. That's all the record they use.
So, because I know when we met, um, this they said the cutoff point for the meeting was what they were not going to count that September meeting, right?
Mm-hmm.
So any meeting,
Yes, because
yes,
we are not using it. It's September 18. September 18
September.
meeting
Okay, yes,
cannot be
that was the cutoff
used.
point. Yes.
Yeah, it cannot be used because that's
So
based upon this meeting. That's why Evelyn Cassell, she was disqualified.
okay, so there was a
Jeremiah
meeting on
said, hey, hold
July.
on. I will answer you, brother. Hold on. Sorry. I'll answer you. I'll call you right back. The chairman won't call,
So
but go ahead when you're done. I'll answer the chairman.
so there was a meeting on July
Mr. Chairman, hold on
31st.
small. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I'm saying there was a meeting on July 31st. You know, that's why I was scrolling.
Yes. Yes.
There was a July 31st meeting. So why is it we don't have the record for that July 31st meeting?
That's the easy question.
You
If the
see?
administration made a mistake and never gave you all the records,
Yes.
that cannot be used against us.
Because I was just checking here. We had
October,
planned.
they got October 17, 2021.
Uh,
They have July 26. What other meeting here? Okay, July 24th, 2022. And they have what the other one here? September 18, 2022. And they have July 31, 2022. There are so many meetings that are not even included.
yes. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, that's okay. So like I said earlier, we need clarity really, because in the absence of that, then it puts us in a real constrained position. It puts us in a real constrained position. You know, um, I still come back to this thing because there's no way we can go beyond this.
Mhm.
We have to know what criteria was used. You see, if you are measuring, if you're measuring something, if somebody gives you a piece of work and say, oh, do this measurement, and the man comes back and say, oh yes, did you do it? Yeah, but with this thing we have to know what metrics was used. All right, if I measure this thing here, I got to be able to tell you, say, oh, I measure this using inches, I measure this using millimeter, or something like that. So it is important. And another thing I wanted to find out is that in the chat room, you said that you were talking to the president and he said he was going to give you update by 6:30.
Mhm.
So did you get any update as you know?
He was just because when I spoke to him, because when I
Mhm.
spoke to the election commissioner chairperson, he said he called people in the administration to verify who was in meeting and who was in meeting. So when I called him, he said, okay, I'll call you back in 6:30 and give you update. When I called him later on, he said no one from the election commissioner called me to verify anybody who about meeting attendance.
All right, now you see this puts us in a really precarious situation here, and I know we want to take a drastic action. We're 2 weeks away from this whole election. So if we are making a demand that the election commission steps down, does that demand also um, carry another carry another another demand that whatever decision was taken by the commission be nullified?
At this point,
At this point,
Yeah.
yes.
All right. You see, so that's something we have to be we have to articulate it also,
yeah.
rather than just say, okay, let the commission, let the commissioner step down. If there's any other demand that has to go hand in hand with our ultimatum, because now we're giving an ultimatum. So what I want to find out from all of us here is let us play devil's advocate. We will say, okay, look, we demand a resignation, so and so. and the board comes up, or the leadership and the board, come up and say, look, let us be realistic. The time is very short. We got 2 weeks to this time.
Okay.
So it's highly unseemly that we're going to have a resignation and then, be able to um, carry on the affairs of this commission in
Okay.
such a short time.
Mm-hmm.
Then what is our next step over there?
Let's do the right thing. All the previous decision be notified, and we'll do the right thing because we cannot use this list. So if you want election commissioner to stay, we cannot use the list to pass any judgment on anybody.
All right.
Yeah.
So then that also takes us to our position that we held
Previously.
when we met. Yeah,
Yes.
when we met the board.
Yep.
And that was simple. I mean, I thought that was simple enough to work for everybody. But sometimes in these things, people have their own personal agenda. And, I want us to be very, very careful. This is such a very small community, very small community. And when we start like this, these things have the propensity to divide us even further. Because guess what? After the elections, the community is supposed to be able to come together again as a whole, because that's what election does. Election is like you forcing, it is like different tributaries running from different angles, but we're all running into one river.
It's true.
Yeah.
Because once you all flow into that one river, then we become that one river. You see? But we don't want ourselves to be in a position that we force that river to also diverge into
Little mini streams.
Different tributaries. Yeah.
That is going to be hard to bring our community back together.
It's true.
So
It's
let
true.
us hold our points, and let's be salient on what we are speaking about. You can speak about a subject. Let's speak about a subject. That one of the things I think I wrote here. Even if you can use a point. Let's hit the points and hit the points. One thing you want to do, you can make the inference about irregularities, but without attacking a person's character directly. We don't want to come up and say, this man was, he has bias towards us and all that. But you lay the facts down for everybody to see. So even if that inference is made, people can see, and people can, see what is going on here. So let us lay everything down. Let's stick to our facts, and let's lay everything down, because we have good ground to stand on.
Thank you, Mr. Frank Trupp. So we communicated with the bull, and in the attachment the letter was sent to the bull, the EC, and the administration. So we receive acknowledgement from the EC, acknowledgement from the administration, but we are yet to hear from the bull. We haven't heard from the bull. So hopefully tonight again we have another communication. Should be going out to the bull, giving them all of the facts and attaching all of this we have currently. So let's go.
All right. If I may inject real quick, is it possible? I know we had last time we were able to ask the board and the EC for an emergency meeting. From all indication here, I think we got 2 more. Is it possible that we can force feed another emergency meeting?
That will be left with the board and the EC to do that.
Yeah.
That will be left with the board and the EC to do that. But for now, we'll communicate with the board. We'll follow up all of the processes. Like I said from the beginning, we have been law-abiding. We just want the right thing to be done. We are not against the community. We love the community. That's why we're into these processes. But we need the right thing to be done. If somebody made a mistake, he can be your friend. Call him up. If you use just 4 documents to disqualify other people, while the other people's names are not here, and you call people to put their names, so tell us who you call. Bring those documents that you use to correct people. So those are certain points you make. But we just want the right thing to be done, Frank. Okay. We need the right thing to be done. That's the easy way to move this community forward, when we start doing the right thing. Because we can keep shoving things under the rug. If we want to run a monarchy farm, then let's just go warm our background and put it on somebody's head. So every year we can worry about going to election.
I know.
Yeah.
All right.
So in as much to say democracy, the people voices have to be heard. The people have to make their decisions. You can go decide who run the community. Gone are those days. We are in the social media age.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Brandy.
So first, I'm just gonna. I saw a comment from Fatima in the comment section, so I just want to bring that to life. You just stated, you know, for sure I wasn't at the meetings. I want to ask you personally right now on this live, where are the other copies of the signing sheets for the meetings, since you are and were on the administration that served? The problem here is when we try, like I said before, when we try to be transparent, then people say we're making problems. How can we run a community that is fair to everyone and make sure everybody is, you know, listened to, everybody is heard, everybody input is, you know, for the public to be able to listen to? The problem here is this. If you can tell that you only saw me at one meeting, but thanks that I see that you always pay attention to me, I really appreciate it. I need you to tell me who all was at the other meetings. Because here's the thing about memory. We can't have selective memory. We want to remember who we saw at a meeting, but then we remember the other person, or, oh, we didn't see that person, but we saw the person. When the president came and said that we should start going to digital, they said what? Digital, that problem, young people can just sign. We got a list. So I challenge you, Fatima family, to produce the list of the meetings that we are missing. Since you can tell me I only been to one meeting, I need you to tell who were at the meetings that were missing. That's the only way you can sit here on this platform and try to advocate for you being in the old administration, and the information that we are getting and the EC is getting is not information. Let's be real. They said they went by the list they were given verbatim. Correct? We all saw the list. According to the list, what does it say? Who qualified? One person. So that who else was supposed to be on that ballot?
Yeah.
But what we're not going to do is turn the eye. Since y'all want to handpick who y'all think is ready, we know who is ready. This is the team that is ready, and we're showing you at all costs we will fight for everybody rights in this community, everybody voice, everybody have a chance to be out here and serve their community. We will serve. And I see a lot of people saying, you know, the saying, it's not what your community can do for you, it's what you can do for your community. We now. We're trying to do it for our community. But they're trying at all costs to stop us, and it will not happen. You cannot silence the truth. The truth is what it is, man. So I challenge you to produce those lists and names of meetings that we are missing. Since you work with the administration, that is your task for the night.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Bernie F.
Rightly said, sister.
That was at the point.
Yeah.
So since Jan Voluda resigned and you serve in his position, she challenged you to produce the documents. Jivan, let's hear from you.
Yeah, well, I would like to throw a light on another issue that's, you know, that shook my conscience. You know, there are times we know certain things we hear when we go out there. We hear our fellow Liberians being called names. We especially label the war rebel. Here's the reason why. Yeah, I'll play both sides of the coins.
Jeremiah, right after Jivan will answer you, brother. Right after Jivan will answer you.
Yeah, let me put it, you know, Jeremiah have a press secretary. You can go through your press secretary. My brother can go through a press secretary. Let him make an official statement. Because anything he say up here is not record.
I
That's all.
hope he called you to tell us Fatima just forwarded him the list.
So here's the thing. Our country went through years of civil war. If you disagree with someone, it doesn't call for you to label another woman's child a rebel. It doesn't give you the right to label someone else's father or brother, someone else's brother, a rebel. Only because why? The person is contesting a position you want. Is that how we're going to treat our fellow Liberians? Come on. If you hear other people saying that it doesn't matter the person age, young or old, whatsoever in between, how long you been knowing the person, it's time for us to stand up and correct these things. Put stop to them. And I'll play the other side of the coin. Because I know I was a victim. And I still live with some of the horrified memories. I saw my father almost executed in front of me, where they took him off the line, and where they had him standing up, they had people in line who were taking them and beheading them. As a child, I witnessed that. Almost witnessed my father being beheaded in front of me. On the other side of the coin, I have friends who were not so fortunate, had their parents killed, murdered in front of them. And some of the very children at that time were forced to become rebels. Is that a burden they have to carry for the rest of their lives? Come on, people. It's a national issue that we shouldn't allow. It should have no place. I don't care who it is. We have children that have to watch their parents being raped in front of them. They have to live with it. I knew I came up to a point where I told my mother that that is not something that I don't think I can stand by and watch. And I promised her that if I was going to remain in a certain settings, then I was going to become a rebel too. Because I was going to do what I can as a person to defend my mother. So yes, we have friends who had to carry on. It was a revolutionary time. I'm not using an overgeneralization to make excuses for everybody. Some people just did it because they want to carry on their own evil attributes out in it. But there were other people that had no other choice. There were children, who were called child soldiers, that were giving drugs, giving arms. They knew no other means. Some of their parents that came in front of them, the very person that executed their parents, they had to follow them, carry the loads for them, the stolen goods, the loots. Who we expected them to look up to. And as people, as fellow Liberians, are trying, and some of these very people are trying to make their lives better. We keep throwing something in the face. We have people in this community that fit all sides of the coin. Explaining. That is why we Liberians, most of us end up staying by ourselves, because we are afraid that people will know something about us. They will just hear one side of the story and they will label us, label our children. When? This is something that has to be condemned to the fullest. We need to stop. Calling somebody a criminal because he disagrees with an act that they did in the United States. If the person having been convicted of a crime, you call the person you refer to as criminals? Really? Come on, man. Look within yourself. You want to talk about a criminal, someone who actually breaking the law. Are you disagreeing or disliking something doesn't mean the person breaking it. There are rules out there. The laws are written a specific way for specific reasons. You know, if we want to all play this holier I am than thou, I can guarantee you Let's go start starting back from people immigration forms. I can guarantee some very people are pointing fingers, you call people criminals. They will have to go in hiding. Let us stop. We shouldn't go there. This is wrong. It will forever be wrong. If you cannot debate the issue, if you cannot stick to the points that are being, the content that is being put out there, stop the name callings. If you're perfect, that's fine. Bless you. Your sin, your sins, who wait, good for you. But we know we are not perfect. Every morning we wake up, we know that we wake up because it is by God's grace. It's not because we're perfect, but because we're always doing everything right. Just stop the masquerading. Stop wearing them masks like you're so perfect that your own, well, my own appearance so perfect. We know the greatest thing that out there, the greatest suspect we always hear out there, a black man wearing all black with dreadlocks. So now you see a fellow Liberian passing around with dreadlocks. We gonna call them criminal. That these are people's children. And the funny part about it, these are some of your friends' children. And you look in their face and laugh with them when behind you calling their children rebels and criminals because they decide to dress a certain way. This is hurtful. If you have nothing to say, it's better to keep your mouth shut.
Yep.
Stick to the issue. That's why I always say politics is like hot water to a tea bag. You pour the hot water on that tea bag in a cup. It shows the actual content within that tea bag. So nobody should say, "Oh, politics," I know that politics. No, that's who you are. That's your true character you're displaying right there. Just been exposed. On the issue of this whole thing about the EC, come on, we got 5 members on the EC. People that I know personally. People I know personally. I got one of my close brother on there. Come on, gentlemen. Let us look at the facts now. This attendance list. We cannot go by hearsay. If you refer something that you know very well, if you go and scrutinize based on the evidence, it will not hold. They decide to pick up phone and make phone calls. Who are you calling? We use other means. What other means? For the sake of transparency, we are demanding those other means be brought to light. It should be displayed because all we have is this attendance list. So we're going to display the attendance list out there. We talk about transparency. We're showing the community what transparency is because it's something that the community is supposed to know. It's not something that the community have to wait. It's not a secret society stuff. So now the ball will be in your court. Come up when your and I know the chairman of the EC is trying to call in. You have your press secretary. You have the EC spokesperson. You guys come up and make a public statement. Tell the community what other means were used. Who did you call? What did they tell you? And then not just that now, and then we're going to question them, what proof do they have? Because according to the list, I don't qualify. I didn't attend no meeting.
Even me.
Okay, but I know I attended meetings. So what
Jan Folder, I will call you back. I will call you back, Jan Folder. Hold on.
And you mentioned my brother Jan was general secretary.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to ask you, my brother, when you're general secretary, where are the documents? Who trusted you to perform a role? Did you turn the documents over, or are you keeping the documents and withholding them from the community because you have some personal stake to it?
Thank you, my dear brother G-Bone. Okay, bye.
So when Fati took over, the times that she served in that role, volunteer job, where are the documents?
Yep.
Where are the lists? Do you have these lists in your possession that withholding them from the community? We need to know. Because I know I attended more than 3 meetings.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not basing on hearsay. I'm not just saying believe it because I say it.
Okay, so When you done, before I go to the spokesperson, I will answer Mr. Chi and Mr. Sele because he keep calling. So let me hear what Mr. Sele wants to say.
It will be fine. Trust me, Mr. Sele has a press secretary. He has a press secretary. He has a spokesperson. He got two persons in boss for him. If you really, if you really issuing this to give a statement out there, let go through that so it can be on the record. Because now we're going to play by the letter of the law. There is no one that'll take you to court and say that, oh, I say this person did this, and you be convicted on that. Come on now. How are we going to grow? What example are we setting for our background and we live in the greatest nation on the world, where we have data, we have information to make these, informed decisions. Where are you making informed decisions from? Personal feelings? I want to know the entire EC where they're making the informed decisions from. Did they go through their phone and be like, oh, I'm looking through my barbecue I had the other day, or my birthday that I had, probably I had this person, I don't see any of my pictures. Easy. Is that how low our community going to? Come on, is that a criteria? I want to know. I'm curious. I'll give it over to you guys.
All right, so we will just go to Bernard, but I want to get Mr. Sele on first before I go to Mr. Bernard Boblet. So let me get the Mr. Sele on, and we will go to the most powerful. All right, let me call Mr. Sele.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Sele. How are you?
Man, how you doing?
Not bad. I know you're not feeling good right now, but go ahead.
Man, I will not feel good. I'm okay. Do your thing. I'm totally fine. I just want to speak to something. I don't want to speak to election commission matter.
Okay.
If the time also speak to that, we speak to that. But I will speak to a few things. I was first start from the call somebody.
Come again, you said?
My brother and myself, we are brothers. We don't have no problem. I don't know nobody here. Anything my brother support a political party or his political alliance have nothing to do with my responsibility on the EC. So
why somebody mentioned that?
Tutu McCarthy. What's what she wrote and stuff.
You know, Tutu following the show. She following the show, so
yeah, it's totally fine with her statement. I will not dignify that. I'm very responsible. I'm not one of those people around here that come to Indiana here and be passing around. Very responsible. I know how to take myself. And these are some of the things you do when you serve your community. I'm open to criticism. I'm very mature for that. And after that, I don't want to dignify that. So let me speak to my brother Institute Bernard Boblet. Bernard Boblet back home here. I met him on status. I have a very firm character. So I know we are in a political atmosphere. Things can be said about people.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're speaking to a friend, you know how to speak, even in the public. So if you question my character, I totally accept those very words you speak on. Better by and by. I call to let you know I agree. That level. Just handle it from that perspective, how you see it now, and I hope you don't change that going forward in the future, no matter what. Just accept that, because nobody in this community suffer from my education and suffer from my character. Nobody in this community will tell you I exploited from anybody for me to take a 5 penny from somebody just to cheat other people. I will never do it today. I will never do it. Never. So whatever bribery you're attaching to my name, it's okay. I totally agree with what our brother can do when politics come. We need to sit down on a public platform and speak of Jeremiah character today. I am my character, I listen to you. It's okay too as well. But one thing I can tell you, if I enter the room and you put Savannah Spirit and
Mm-mm.
Am I missing something? I'm not hearing anything.
Mr. President, can we move forward? I think he's having a reception problem or so. If he
respect
does
for me
get
or
it
not,
right, he can join
they
us.
will not do anything for me. But what I tell you, I will maintain myself as my kids today. And I will never take bribe from anybody in this world to do what I want to do. If I do something consciously or subconsciously, let me bear the consequences. But to pay lies on a
The reception is
I
coming
all
in like
young
the
people.
letters we receive.
Today is my character being alarmed. I accepted because I took a challenge to serve my community. So those that are saying it today, they will swallow the same words one day. Thank you, and I appreciate your show. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Volulet, Mr. Volulet, Mr. Jeremiah Slade, that's the election commissioner chairman. Surprisingly, he never talks about any of this authentic issue here tonight. He's speaking about his personal character, but which is, of course, a nice one to speak of too. So let's speak to Mr. Bernard Buble and go back to the student panelists. Mr. Buble, go ahead.
Thank you. Firstly, let me make some clarity. I said, and I repeat, I said I refuse to believe the gossip and the rumors in the community that this chairman has been bribed. I said, but sometimes his actions want me to believe, but I won't, because I believe in him as a brother. And when it comes to me questioning your integrity, I have to. Because I just watch you qualify and disqualify people with a listing that does not reflect your judgment. When you make a judgment and there are discrepancy, it takes away the credibility. It takes away the integrity of that decision. And based on those decisions, we decided that we can't trust your credibility to make an informed decision, because the decisions that you have made lacks integrity. Like I said, when I see FoP, I call you to talk about it privately, even though I represent a team. But with this document, how do you use a listing that carried the same date? What kind of judgment did you use there, my brother? If two meeting attendants carry the same date, did you sit back and ask yourself, how is it possible? It has to be a decision made with a motive. There is a motive attached to the decisions. It is that motive that I question. Because the decision is not credible, it doesn't have integrity, bro. Nope, it don't. If you qualify Mr. Judas Parker as a presidential candidate, he appears on this listing that you forwarded to us as a yardstick that you use, and the guidelines that you gave says 3 attendance record, but he's on a ballot paper with 1, then that decision don't have credibility. If I'm going to point something out, okay, you reopen the process for us to submit new names. We found 2 people that we knew by all means attended more than 3 meetings. One of whom is Mother Bob, who have attended almost every LAI meeting. What did he tell us today? She's not qualified either. Is that even possible? How? How is that possible? What's the integrity in that decision? What's the credibility of that decision? I am baffled, brother. It hurts me. Just sitting here and speaking to your actions. Because I regard you as one of the finest gentlemen since I came to this community. But today, just going through these listings, after we submitted our candidate and you made all this thing complicated. Because if you weren't being what you are, we wouldn't have gone digging. We went to that meeting on Sunday. We ignored even the fact that Hoti Pamo was still not qualified when you made a decision. We let it slide because we wanted peace. We wanted to move forward. The fact that you said you will reopen it, we said, okay, we'll bring a formidable force. We submit that to you, somebody of character. But you guys knew that under no circumstances, Hoti Pamo can win an election when Madam Wida Pele is on the ballot paper. So what did they do? You say it's not possible, she's not qualified. How? From your listing, you got 1. I can point to other meetings, like the one with the constitutional review. And other ones. She's been to at least over 10 meetings. Where is the credibility? Where? I'm being hard on you because you represent my generation in this election. A generation that are so champion to see lead. I told you the other day, your actions or inactions will affect the rest of the young people in this community. How can somebody look at me with a position of trust tomorrow? Like what they did in your case? How? How? How, my brother? This is disheartening. This is very disheartening. I'm hurt. I'm hurt because I had to come strong on a brother. But I have to do the right thing. Because I've walked in a place where I've clothed myself with morality. I have to speak to the voice of consciousness. I have to be balanced and objective, regardless of my relationship to you. I have to stand for what is right. Because there's a whole community to benefit from the decision that you make. I can't stand with you and affect this community because you are a brother. This community is bigger than our friendship. This community deserves better than our friendship.
I can say this to you. When it comes to electioneering process in this community, I stay objective. In the last election, my family member was on the ballot paper. And I chose the other side because I believed in what I believe. Did it fracture the relationship? No, it did not. But I believe in what I believe, and I stand for what is right. As a friend, if I don't call you out, then I don't like you. If I shut my mouth because you are my personal friend, I won't be doing you a favor. I will be harming you as a friend. A good friend is the one who calls you out. And I've done that privately. You could have avoided all of this if you have put aside your ego. You both solved this problem a long time ago. What did you think? That we weren't going to go through the listing? What kind of set of education young people will receive a document and don't read them? Did you just think that we're just going to find people that we think qualify and put them forward? No. I personally do not pick up a paper without reading it. I followed every detail. That's why I was able to catch the dates. I would have just taken it at 5 attendant records. But I followed the details, bro. So because of these actions, it is not possible for you to remain as the commissioner, the chairperson of the commission. You can step down honorably. Because of time, someone can step out to the plate and we can move forward. Because elections are tomorrow. When I say tomorrow, I mean it's close by. How do we trust going to the debate, knowing that every communication we send to you ends in a Paco camp? I can draw an analogy for you. After the meetings on Sunday, Hoti Pamu was so sure that he had a white ballot. If you want to chat, go back from Sunday to yesterday evening. There was no picture of Hoti posted by the Paco camp. There was no post by Hoti Pamu. Few minutes after we pay for the candidacy of the people who put forward, and it ended in your arms. Hoti show up because now he has a competition. How do you call that? How do you call that? And you battle that I question your credibility. And if you claim it's not you, if the boss have said that you continuously hand our document or our communication to Team Parker because of transparency, you have requested those same documents. You are yet to forward those communications to us. Elections should be balanced. It should be transparent. It should be free. It should be fair. Keeping those documents away from us takes away the fairness. Makes it not free because the freedom to information has been taken away. How then do we go to debates? With questions you provide. Should we not wonder if by now they have been studying those questions for days? Because if our candidacy registration can lay in your hand and a few minutes later they respond, what about the questions for the debate? But if the debate is to be held tomorrow, I can't shy away from it because my candidates are qualified. But I got a proposal. After elections, the parliamentarian will run our meetings. They will coordinate them. Give the two parliamentarian candidates the platform to coordinate that debate. Because debates are meant to win the hearts of electorates. The performances of those candidates will make an informed decision as to who to be elected. That the questions come from independent body, not the EC. Because if the EC qualification of candidates is not credible, how can the questions be credible? I would even recommend give it to the Christian Leaders Association to draw those questions. Bring it to the debate. Take the two parliamentarian candidates. Put them to moderate those debates. But you can't be the one moderating it. You can't be the one providing the questions. We don't trust the credibility of those questions. No. How do we trust it? If our communications can land in the other camp minutes after we submit them. If we'll go to meetings and Mr. Parker will make reference to our communication, he gives specifics. What? How can Mr. Parker reference a private communication for our camp to the Election Commission giving specifics? What does that tell you? Where is the credibility? Where? I call you up because you are a brother, which means I mean well. Covering you up will hurt you. You represent my generation in these elections, and I'm a champion of generation change. I will fight to the bones and the teeth to ensure that my generation is represented with integrity, with credibility. They will be represented in a faction that people will trust us with leadership. They will be represented in a faction that people will say, yes, this young man have the ability to steer the affairs of the future. How can you allow yourself to be used by people who lived in the future, deciding your future? This is our future. What we do today lay the foundation for our children. It has to be rock solid. It has to be tight with credibility. So until you resign, will remain uninvolved until these things are rectified. Until we go through the qualification of these candidates, the basics and criteria on which they are qualified by an independent body that have our trust. At this point, we have a vote of no confidence. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The most powerful spokesperson in Indiana currently. And I know my sister Bernie Afa is off. You know, when you people finish speaking, I get you be speechless. You know. So I know we've been here for some time. Tutu, I know you complaining that I remove your comment, but please, Mama, you the same person the other day were talking to me. Oh, Philip, you know, when they're going low, go high, don't respond to them. So tonight, please don't do it too now. You know, my darling, you're the looking hours princess. Let's not start too much unnecessary things on here to remember, though. After the election, the community remains. So let's enjoy it. All right. So we'll go around the table and have everybody parting comments in 2 minutes because we're already going 146. And we have discussed a whole lot of issues here. And going forward, we will keep communicating. If possible, if all of you guys have the time, we can make the show 3 times a week instead of just 2 times a week. But until then, we'll communicate in our chat room and know if we have some days that we not doing anything much, you can say, Let's go. Let's have it. Oh God. You want to call Eve taking over by Asset Go fan? Okay, Eve coming so I can answer you right now. All right, so we will go around the table and take our 2 minutes each, and when calls coming, then we can allow them to make their points. All right, so let's go to the professor first.
Brobled, you spoke on ethics and you spoke in principles,
Mr.
and I
Hold on.
respect you for
Professor
that.
speaking.
It takes a lot for a young friend to stand up for what is right. But in the face of justice, you stood your ground today. Thank you so much for being that man that you are. I am sad that Jeremiah had an opportunity to clarify some things on his own behalf, but he refused. Rather to go and start attacking that people are attacking his credibility. It's your actions that we're looking at. You have to clarify for us. Because I personally play chess with this young man. So I know he's intelligent. So to come up on a show and a platform where your actions stands to be checked and you do nothing to clarify, I don't understand. What other opportunity does he need? Is he going to go on a press conference to clarify things for his own good? I think he better do so because it doesn't look good on his part right now. At the end of the day, this community is for all of us. We want to be able to work together. So we don't want to hurt each other. That's why we do not use derogative, defamative thing about people. We want to go by your actions so that you can clarify for us. And for him to come here and start to be personal about what is being said instead of going to the facts, I don't understand. But I pray tonight that the community listening and watching will check their own conscience and see which side they're going to be on.
All right,
Because at the end of the day,
Mrs. Spillet, I
yes.
have the president of the Liberian community want to make his comment. So there's
Please bring him
always
on.
exception.
Please.
Mr. President, go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Logan, and good evening to your panelists and the peace-loving people of our community.
Good evening, Mr. President.
Yeah, thank you for allowing me to come on your platform at least to speak to the community and to speak to all of us during this electoral process. We all have been following the process. Under the circumstances, everybody is doing their utmost best to make sure that our community remains peaceful and calm as we go through this electoral process. I know you guys have filed a protest earlier that the board tried to intervene, and there was some compromise reached. Again, I've been told that there was some name that was sent in again that was denied by the EC. I also listened to your press conference or your press statement that was made by Mr. Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
I think when we have issues, this is the most civil way to address it. You make your point, and there are people in the community who listen. Know the board is listening, and the administration is listening.
Mm-hmm.
And so we thank you for being civil. We thank you for the statement that was made. But there are a lot of things that come with elections. An election is always, it's not 100% process.
Mm-hmm.
I know the last meeting we attended, the people that were disqualified, one of the reasons that the EC gave was this attendance issue.
Mm-hmm.
And based on that, the EC decided, if my memory can serve me right, that, okay, look, we will open the process. A lot of people apply, but those who apply, we hope that, they will meet the guidelines that have been set forth. And I think the question was specifically asked in that meeting, what was the attendance guideline?
Mm-hmm.
And they said 3 meetings. They said 3 meetings. And so I know compromise were made on both sides.
Yeah.
And that compromise entails that even though some people were on both sides, I wasn't qualified. But again, with the understanding from the both sides, you all agreed to the compromise that were made. And so people were accepted on both sides. And moving forward, the guidelines should have been followed as per the recommendation that were made in that meeting.
Right.
So now, coming back today, I'm not getting any official statement in the chat room anywhere to tell me why, the last two presidents that you just submitted were denied. But for whatever reason they were denied, I'm not too sure. But I'm hearing from your show that it's attendance.
Attendance,
Now,
yes.
now, if it was attendance, yeah, it is true that you have all of the attendance records that shows that even you, technically, not qualified,
even Parker not qualified.
Mr. Parker and also
and Mr. Robert Carey have no attendance record here.
Okay, great. And so I think in the wisdom of the EC, of the board, I think that was the time, they made that recommendation. Okay, but let's leave that because all already passed and gone. So, there are just some things that are not retrospective. So we have gone there and said, okay, we'll compromise on this. But going forward, we hope that, the names that will be submitted will meet the guidelines, the attendance guidelines. Because that was one of the reasons we said those who are already been denied should not apply. Because even if they come back, they will still be denied because they are not qualified as per the attendance records. I think the EC made that very clear. But again, there are a lot of holes, in the whole process, especially when it comes to the attendance issue. The EC can be blamed for whatever reason you guys want to blame them. Again, like I said, this is our opinion going forward. But look, what we gave them is what we work with. Now, if it is true, one of the reasons I call, if it is true, according to you people, that the EC was also qualifying people based on information that they were getting from this administration, then it's something that was investigating.
Yes, the EC chair told me that.
Because whatever information we gave them is what they're working with. So under the circumstances, like we said in our meeting, the administration made some blunders. If you look at the listing there, 4 meetings, so whatever we gave them is what they work with. So yes, of course, if it is true that they were calling people to qualify people on telephone from people in the administration, then that is very sad. They have not come to my attention as the committee leader. So if that's something that we need to look into, we will have to look into that. But look, all in all, I think all of you who have decided to step up to run in this community, you are all fine men and women, and men and women who want to serve. And we will ask that our community come first. Like you guys have clearly stated, and Mr. Trevor trying to at least let us know, look, after all is said and done, we still have this community to move forward. But it is right when we are hurt or when we think we feel in this each other, it's good for us to come out, to express ourselves and let people know, lay out what have disenfranchised us so that the community can know. And after all is said and done, we move forward. So I'm calling on both sides to exercise restraint. I'm calling on both sides to put the community first. Whatever the situation is, you're working with people, even if, and I like the way the election goes, you got qualified people from all sides, both sides. It is possible that your chaplain will win, the other person chaplain will not win. You still have a chaplain to work with. Somebody financial secretary will win, the other financial secretary will not win. You still have a financial secretary to win to work with. And so the election commission, under the circumstances, have done incredible job. They have tried their best. The record system in this community, especially when it comes to this listing, this is something that I think we all have felt, especially the administration, because similar thing happened in the last administration. To repeat it again, I think it's something that, the next administration really need to work on is attendance issue.
Mm-hmm.
So I call on you and all of your supporters to put the community first. Whatever has happened, let's move forward. Let's build a community that all of us will be able to enjoy after these elections. We can be able to reach across the aisle on both sides and try to see how we can work together to build our community. And so I thank you guys very much, for exercising restraint. You have done the right thing, make your case. People have listened to you. But again, our community come first. And we pray that, all of us will exercise some level of restraint so that we can move this process forward.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. So that was the voice of the president of the Liberian community, Mr. Rufus Stati. So he just stated here that nobody from his administration had reached out to him to let him know that people from the election commissioners have been called in to verify those who attend a meeting or not. So that is another point that has been made clear again. So let's go back to you, Mrs. Philip, because you are on before we answer the president call.
I just want to say thank you to the president for taking that bold step and giving a positional statement. A lot of times in our community, we say, for peace sake,
just a second again. I got somebody right here.
Okay.
That's another call again. So let me see.
Go for it.
Hello, caller. Hello.
Hello, how you doing, sir?
I'm okay. Your name?
Mr. Savannah D. Pele Senior.
Okay, Mr. Savannah D. Pele Senior. Go ahead. Make your point.
Yeah, I believe that Rufus Stati spoke extemporaneously when it comes to the issue.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact of the matter here is that people are dodging the reality or dodging stating the facts to what is unfolding. So, I like what Bernard did tonight. He called his friend and brother up, Jeremiah Saleh. He said, look, what you doing is wrong. Let's do what is right for the community. And the president just spoke. He said the listing they gave you is the listing that you ought to work with. So quite frankly, let Jeremiah tell us where is he getting his other lists, and let Bulu tell us, you don't just dwell on Jeremiah. So there's a committee. Jeremiah is just the chair. You ask Bulu, who's the spokesman. You ask Laurie, who's the co-chair. You ask Pastor Johnny. You ask Emma Duo. You ask everybody to come on the show and let us spread the knowledge of how it is qualified and qualified candidates. And that's important because they are saying that you, Philip, can argue against Parker, for which I strongly doubt.
Mm-hmm. That's what they are saying.
I strongly doubt it. The only thing you're doing now, you're questioning the process of transparency. And we all must yield and accept transparency. The other camp, the Red Press Conference, they attack the administration. They attack Rufus Stati directly. But one thing they don't realize, as a leader, you have auxiliaries. You have people that work with you, not for you. You provide support for them. Can they come on this broadcast and say Rufus didn't give them the leeway or didn't get the support? Because Rufus is not a custodian of records. Ian did the same thing to Arvin.
Mm-hmm.
When we were leaving Arvin camp to come to Rufus camp, he sees the record. And I warned him, I cautioned him at that time. This should not happen anymore. Because information is vital. Information should be used. for the developmental nature of the community we serve. And Bernard, I like your approach. I have my children living in this community. Likewise, Jeremiah has his children living here. Likewise, every one of us has our children living here. What foundation are we setting? And I told someone that called us today, Philip. They called me and said, oh, I said, no, this is a situation I must address. I haven't tell you it to your face before, but I work to make you our YMA president.
Yeah.
I work effectively because when you spoke to John Doe funeral, I said that's one of the best youth I can represent us. So I talked to the RYMA team. I run campaign in RYMA where I was even a member of RYMA. So I told the person who called me, tell me one thing that Philip did that is questionable, for which all of you have a personal problem with Philip. All I see is petty jealousy, enviosity. Englishmen say, is there envy you? You are the change that they cannot accept. And they will have to accept it, no matter what. I like your approach with a civil matter. My wife could not put herself on the ballot, but we did it because we wanted to prove the vetting process wrong. Because when I talked to you, you said, I want to lead. I said, no, how can you lead? When you don't even know the details of the community.
Yeah.
You accepted the approach.
Yeah.
I said, oh, wow, you're too humble. Then, they decided to disqualify our candidates. Then they sent records they used to disqualify our candidates. Then I said, well, let me put my wife on the ballot, who is a professor, who attended 3 meetings with me. But look at their meeting records. They only reflect 2 meetings meaning. And Rufus spelled it right. But Rufus was the president. He is not a recorded corresponding secretary. He's just a PR. Go and talk out there and get people to come and join us. That was his role. Make sure we get money. That was his role. And what presidents do.
Yep.
But if Yan Volule, who is commenting today and castigating others, but claim to be doing PhD, but can write a 30 minutes, it's questionable. I can go quarter and quarter and quarter, but this needs to stop. It needs to stop. People need growth in their life. People need to be guided in their life. They say Fatima took over a young position when he resigned. He resigned surreptitiously as Jeremiah resigned on a pastor administration. But one thing I will tell you today, when I was on your show discussing CASA, Jeremiah was texting me. And I got a text to prove Jeremiah wrong. Jeremiah, if you're a man of integrity, step aside. Step aside because you've been questioned. And that's a fair warning. That is a fair warning. Don't tamper with people's success. Don't identify with people's growth when you are not of the growth. I'm saying this word to you clearly with no beef. You are my brother. And I love you because you respect me. But you disrespect me today, you call me a child. Because you didn't know the political process. But when I started knowing you, I own a team in Gardnersville, and you play for our brother team, Tepo. I come to your field every Saturday to partner with Moses Wube, former managing director for FDA. I have been in the upper echelons for years. But I don't showcase myself. I don't share myself. I don't do PR. I took Liberia to Papua New Guinea at the RTTO conference and delivered 455 million debt waiver. Go and check that record. When Liberia was doing CPA agreement in Ghana, I spoke to all the news outlets as the youth coordinator that brought peace to Liberia. Go check that. I keep my low profile. I keep my cool. Your brother came on chat room, calling me criminal, and posting arrest record, not conviction. But I got news to share with you today, Jeremiah, and your entire family. You need to remain humble. And I was Papa Yoga told me. He said, Savannah, you're a good man. Your mother is humble. Follow your mother's example. That's why you see I'm humble. When I came from a problem, your brother came to me and said,
yeah, Fatty, I will call you back, please. I see the call ringing.
And you came to me, say, stay for the community, stay focused. I can post all the text messages out there. Jeremiah, your integrity is at stake. Step aside. Step aside, Jeremiah. It's not important. You can't damage the community any further. My children live here. I get Savannah Jr. here. I get Hannah, my sweetest heart. And I got Abraham coming. I got Isabella coming. I got Amos right in Ohio. That is even of your age group. But your brother was calling my wife provocative, distasteful.
Hey, Billy. Thank you so much, Savannah. Thank you so much, Mr. Savannah Pele. So because of time, we're going 2 hours. We'll not be accepting any calls again. We will go straight to the studio panelists to take 2 minutes each. And welcome to the Logan's Hour, Hawa Kilima. So we'll come to you. So let's go to each panelist. We'll take 2 minutes and we'll call it a quits. So let's go to you again. Go ahead, Hawa Kilima.
No, I just wanted to say, I've been following and I just decided to, chime in. But to just piggyback off our President Rufus, where he said he mentioned our compromise during that meeting. Yes, we compromised during the meeting, but we did not compromise based on that attendance list. The compromise was based on us, the disqualified candidate being out and having to look for new candidates for the vacancy. That what was the compromise. But we did not know the reason. We did not know that list was going to have a lot of discrepancy in that list. And people will say, oh, these people are so problematic. We're not problematic. We just want it to be done right. We're just seeking, I would say, we're just seeking justice for what has been done to us. We was not treated fair. And the only reason why that the other team is silent because everything was done in their favor. Everything went in their favor. So definitely, they're gonna be silent. So my thing is, it's evident. The evidence is already out there. It's evident. So now we need to come to a resolution. What are we going to do with this information? Because based on this list, like we all have stated here tonight, nobody is qualified to run for this election. Only one person I heard tonight. So what are we going to do? And like our press secretary said, how can we trust the debate process? How can we trust those questions? I even thought about it today. Our brother Jeremiah came and said that we kind of attack his persons. It's not his persons, you know. He's the head of the EC. He's the head of the EC, and this is why all our statement, our comments is directed to him. So what we needed for him, we thought he was gonna come and make a statement and say, okay, you know, we are, first of all, I think we need an apology. That's an open apology. A statement need to be given to us, because the record, if they're basing on our qualification based on that list, I mean, it's insane. It's not possible, because first of all, the it's not accurate. Information is missing. So what do you want to tell us now? How can we fix this? This is what we want to know. How can we move forward? Because this is not transparency. It's not at all. So I'm asking them tonight, how can this fix this? How can this fix this situation? How can this situation be resolved? Listening to all of our complaints. We have a valid reason to complain. You know, even if you were to take this complaint in court, you know, our complaint is valid. This is a valid complaint. The records are there. The evidence is there. So what are they telling us now? How can we resolve this issue? How can we resolve this issue? If we are communicating with you on a personal level, why is this communication is going out even before we make it public? Does that make sense? So there's a foul play somewhere. There's a foul play somewhere. So I think they need to address our issue. This is not, I mean, we're not attacking him personally. This is an issue that needs to be addressed. And I think first and foremost, they need to be held accountable for this election process, because we all know that it is all biased and there's some kind of ulterior motive behind it. That's all I have to say.
Thank you so much, Hawa, for that. And we will go around the table again, as I stated, because we're going 2 hours plus, and there are comments coming up, and I can't read all of the comments. We would love to read at least a few of the comments. Let me see if I can just read from up the screen, or I can just read from up my phone. This comment comes from this person here. Hold on, girl. I'll call you back. There's this comment coming up from somebody here. What's the comment? All right, let me read another comment here. We are not taking calls right now, so just hold on. We are not accepting calls right now. We are exhausted out of the calls, so we will call you back. So there's this comment from another person here. They said, not surprising, Fatima undermines Yan, forcing Yan to resign as general secretary. Now she undermined Evelyn Cassell and forced Parker to remove her so Fatima can take the spot. Welcome on board, Fatima, this great backstabber. So another comment here again from another person here. They said, tell me, because I'm asking the same question. Nothing they can say, but it's not his time yet. What have they done? Or this is not cheering play, or he is trying to make our MA take over area. That's all I can hear all the time. Hash, hash, hash. So we can take all of the comments right now. So let's go around the table and take our 2 minutes each. Let's have our parting. Let's start with the professor first.
You know, something I forgot about that my husband mentioned was what Joseph Sele wrote in the chat room. Joseph's a very smart guy. He came in a meeting for less than 30 minutes and he was able to decipher me. But he didn't lie. He said two things. He said, I love to hear my own voice and I'm very provocative. I do agree with him. I love to hear my own voice. That's why I guide my tongue in what I speak. Because I know when I hear that voice again, I want to make sure that I did not defame anyone. I did not lie on anyone. I did not do anything that I can stand up head high and say it. He said, I'm provocative. Yes, I will provoke you into your future. I will push you into your destiny. That's what I am. If I see the potential you have, the capabilities, I will provoke you to go there. So he didn't lie. He just didn't understand what he was saying. But I appreciate him because he will learn. Soon as he go back to school and actually graduate, I will mentor him. I will help him get to where he's going because he got potential. So that was just by the way. I want to say thank you to everyone on this platform tonight that took their time to be here to express what it is because it takes a lot to stay in the face of your friend and point them or call them out when they are wrong. And that is what integrity is all about. It will happen over and over again in this community, but I'm optimistic with a change agent. Oh, we're about to see different. They just won't be able to help it. The change is here. We are tired of same old, same old. Things have been done one way or the other. And Bernice made a very good point. She said, we will see what Team Parker is going to do about this. If a leader can step aside in the face of evil that is being perpetrated against other people and say nothing, he's not a good leader. So we're watching, we are looking. He thinks the shoe may not be on his foot today, but it doesn't take a long time for you to wear one. So thank you so much. That's my part.
Thank you so much for that. So we'll go to Bernice. Bernice, give your 2 minutes party.
All right. Sorry, guys. I'm in the car.
You
But
good? Jivan always in
this is
car.
what I'm just going to say is what I'm just going to say is this. I want to tell everybody thanks for always tuning in. It just shows us that there are people in our community who really care about what is going on. They want to know and they want to take action in making the situation right.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I want to say, I told somebody Saturday, you have to be careful of the message that you are sending when you are allowing things to be done that are not right because it works in your favor.
It's true.
Because later on down the line, that same thing you're doing is going to haunt you and you will have to answer to those irregularities. And I said that to say, in Parker being screaming, let's follow the Constitution. Follow the Constitution. Follow the Constitution. This is what we're doing. We're following the Constitution and the guidelines that the EC put out at all costs. We have to make sure that everybody is accounted for. And if they are looking at the same list, unless you know they got other lists that we're not aware of, since people from the administration is working with them, they need to put those lists out so that we can make sure that, we're all on the same page. We don't want to be left behind, and our community will be aware of everything that is going on.
Yep.
Again, thank you guys for allowing uh, me on this show, and thank the audience and the people of our community for allowing us to tell you guys and show you guys what true transparency is when it comes to leading your community. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brittany Alpha. So those in Liberia, you heard it. That's the person who you people follow on the show most. So we will go to, because how I just come here, I know how I want to talk more. So we'll go to Frank Trupp. So Frank, go ahead. Give your 2 minutes.
All right, thank you once again for the opportunity. It was wonderful being on here. And I just like to say in this public manner that we have a message. Our old people always told us that when you go to the market, you do not pay attention to the noise in the market. Otherwise, you will probably leave out some things that you're gone, you might forget to buy what you want to buy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We have a message. Let us stay on point with our message. There are gonna come a lot of things from the outside, you know. There's gonna come a lot of things from the outside. Let's not be carried away by that.
Mm-hmm.
And for those that support us, we will also like to caution that you can support us. The best way we want you to support us is to turn out and vote. Make sure you're registered, turn out that day in full, and vote us into leadership. All right,
Mm-hmm.
because we are too small of a community to divide ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to look at any example, just look at what's happening in this nation today, not to get deep into what's going on. But there were people who wanted to be in power, and they decided to use a method, divide and conquer, and they brought out a lot of division. Now, as a result, that division is still affecting this country today.
Mm-hmm.
So we do not want to bring that division in our community.
Mm-hmm.
And tomorrow, when this whole election season is over and everything, that division remains. So it's hard to even get people to work along with you. You see, we need everybody in this, and we're calling on people from all sides. This is a very small community. We're too small to divide ourselves like this. No need to get personal about people. We are sticking to facts. All these things you hear us talking about, they are based upon facts. We have the attendance sheets in our hands. It's based upon facts. Decisions that we're taking that seem to favor one side above the other is based upon facts. But let us not get personal into things, because we do not want to bring a division in our community that's going to be very hard to take out. It is easy to destroy, but it's so hard to rebuild. And we see we're still struggling to rebuild in our nation today. We're still struggling. After so many years since the last gun sounded, we're still struggling to rebuild because
Mm-hmm.
that division came in. And when you break up something, it's not so easy to put it back together.
So
So in
true.
this public manner, I just like to caution everybody and say out there, vote us into leadership, because we're looking for change. And this is the change that we can bring you. We can assure you that we are all about transparency, and we're all about good governance going forward. So we're asking you now to trust us, to take this community to heights that it's never been before. And we have the leadership capable of doing that. We have the leadership capable of doing that. So we're not just asking you if you like this person, you like that person. No, turn out to vote and vote up and down our ballots and bring everybody into leadership. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Mr. Frank Truck. So we're going to take our press conference intro, and when we get by, we go straight to Mr. Jivan Smith. Mr. Smith, it's up to you.
Yes, I would like to take this opportunity to speak to our community. There's a lot of wrongs that is going on. Let us not shy away from it, because if we don't face it today, who else? And if we don't deal with it now, when? can pretend that we don't see it. I always say, by you closing your eyes, it doesn't mean it's not shining.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You used to see the light. We stand before you today, calling on everybody. The fights are out there. We're calling on the EC. I'm calling on the EC. Everyone on the EC. 5 persons on the EC. Take a step back. If you were the ones being used to be qualified or to be accepted based on inaccurate records or based on yearsay,
Hmm.
how will you feel? Because life has a funny way of bringing things back.
Oh yeah.
Tomorrow, you will be standing somewhere where you're being accused. Will you want to be judged just on hearsay, people personal feelings about you? And like I said earlier, that's a national issue, not just our community, not just Liberia, even in the US. Black men wearing all black with dreadlocks become the usual suspect only because you have dreadlocks. Is it a crime? Is it a crime to be young? Is it a crime to oppose the other side? To be labeled with other names because someone disagree with you?
Mm-hmm.
We are better than this. I know we are Liberians. I know we got it in us. We are way better. So that little part of you, that we call the conscience, where our Creator speaks to based on our morals. As He speak to you tonight, tomorrow, and in all your endeavors. Let us stand up for each other. And when another person is being wrong, let us speak up because it may be another person today. Tomorrow it could be someone that we love or it could be ourselves.
It's
Thank you.
true. Thank you so much, Mr. Ivan Jivan Smith. So I will go to Hawa Kiliman, then I'll go straight after Hawa. The press secretary will come in, then we can take our leave.
Thank you, Mr. Logan. I'm
Well,
so
if you want to
sorry.
leave, anybody here who already done with the closing, if you get somewhere to go, you can also take your leave. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Logan, and thank you to everyone on the platform, and thank you to our viewers. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to want to serve this community. All I have to say is we will always be Liberian in our community. We will always be one. We're just fighting for this change. And as you can see, if you vote for Team Logan, we pay attention to details. We are very details oriented. And this is why we're able to view that list and know what is going on within our community. This is very, very vital for our administration. Records keeping, number one, that's a plus. Today we're talking about attendance. Tomorrow it could be our finances. It could be discrepancy in our bookkeeping. So a hint to the wise is quite sufficient. So I hope you are taking notes. Don't just think that we're on here being crybabies. No, this is serious. One attribute being a leader in the community, especially record keeping the books, is very, very critical. Because even for our IRS 501c3, at the end of the year, when we do our filings, these records has to be submitted. These minutes has to be submitted. So we're not just blowing smoke. We're not just making noises. So we need that. So I want to tell the community tonight, please put all your personal feelings aside. Put all your personal feelings aside and let's look at facts. And we all know, looking at this list tonight, that we weren't treated fairly. So please, I'm appealing to you. Go back and even study this list and ask yourself, wait a minute, if the EC based that requirement for candidacy, three meetings, three meetings that you have to attend within a year, this is not fair. So please, don't just think because it's the Logan team. It could even be the Parker's team. Think about it and vote for us. Like I said, tomorrow it could be your finances. Tomorrow it can be anything else. We need to have accurate record keeping. Accurate is very vital for our records, for our book, because we are a 501c3. So tonight, once again, I want to say thank you all for watching. Bye bye.
Thank you so much, Hawa. Thank you. So let's go to the most powerful press secretary in the history of Indiana, Mr.
I want to admonish you all for your thoughts tonight. You guys spoke well. This is what the community needs. Trust is a function of good leadership. Both teams received these attendance records. One team chose to seal their lips. Can you trust them? They are supposed to be your leaders. If they cannot stand up to the ills in our society, how can you trust them? How? Do you want a leadership that doesn't even respect the current leadership? I, a few days ago, had to get out of my shell to address the ills. In these processes, we have seen the board made of elders, people old enough to be grandparents of others, speaking bad, disrespectful, dragging it in the mud. We have seen them speak to the current leadership with no regard. You can plot a new map with us sitting on the old one. If you discard the blueprint, what kind of structure are you going to be building? If you got no regard for the current leadership, how therein do you want to lead? Most of the time, I'm in dismay to see folks, Mr. Julius Packer, Mr. Richard Bowen, two people who want to be president and vice president, say nothing or do nothing when surrogates of that camp insult our elders and they do nothing. Today, we witness someone who's supposed to be the representation of all youth in our community try to push away every other person who comes to the table to contribute. Where have you been? Who have seen you? Every person in this community have their contribution one way or the other. You might love the baby shower. What happened to those folks who work in the religious community and probably are busy with other stuff? Do you marginalize them because they don't show up at baby showers? What about those who have jobs full-time school, and other responsibilities. Yet, they contribute to this community in all other forms. That's why the first and most powerful pillar of our manifesto says all Liberian involvement, regardless of their age, because I don't want somebody saying you're too young to be a first lady, regardless of their tribe, because I don't want somebody saying it's a bastard thing. Tribalism have no space in our society. I mean, all Liberian involvement. We want better community relations. That's another pillar. Where we are able to work with all other smaller organizations that host Liberians, relate to them, bring them under one basket. Not just a small club. This community is too small to encourage oligarchs. We can't do that. We have chosen to be safer throughout this electionary process because we understand that after November 5th, we have a community to lead. That's why I personally, even though my office says I'm the chief spokesperson, I should be propagating things against you guys. I don't. Because I believe in cohesion among us. When I see fraud, I call you up personally, call your personal line, talk about it. My brother, my sister, this is wrong. We have a community to protect. We are in the election process, but what happens to the community? It's called love for community. That's why we have chosen to be the bigger side, even though we have most of the young people. Because we understand this community comes first. It is above our personal feelings, our relationships to other people. It is supreme, and we want to keep it that way. That's why we say vote Team Logan. A team that has tested leaders. That's why we say vote Team Logan. A team that has promised you good leadership and service to all. Because a servant leadership is what the community deserves. As leaders, we are meant to serve. That's why we are called leaders and not rulers. So we remain resolute that the chairperson of the Election Commission must resign. He betrayed our trust. The confidence we repose in him as a community. If and only if he had chose to lay down his ego. When the elders of our community who serve on the board advise to open up the process, we wouldn't have been in this predicament. So we say until we can have an independent source of questioning for the debates, and we proposition that the two parliamentarian candidates serve as the moderator, then that debate will be credible. Then we'll welcome that debate. How can we accept the questions from the guy who put aside our people, disqualified them on his personal feelings? How, my people? Fellow Liberians, peace-loving Liberians residing in Indiana. For so long, we have sat back. We have used all the mediation mediums to take these elections as smooth as they can go. Yes, we have tried. We are being insulted. Today, our brother Morris can't even be with us. He's dealing with the issue of being called a rebel by someone who stood on the ballot paper. That tells us that if they lose the election, they will try to tear us, this community apart. Because few minutes after she was disqualified, she walked out of the door and started referring to people as rebels, reminding us as a community of the dark past. That is traumatic for some people. Very traumatic. Today, those people who stood with us when we defended Madame Cassell cannot say to her that you are wrong. Leaders are those who recognize their flaws, make corrections, move forward. How do you want leadership if you can't have a handle on a small group of people in your camp? How? Then this community is too big for you to carry. When this team address issues when they go wrong, we stand up for people. A few weeks ago, when we had an issue of some ghostwriter, Jusu, even though it was in our favor, we stood up and released a statement condemning him, asking him to apologize. And we saw the apology. Today, Madame Cassell has called another candidate a rebel. Mr. Parker. Yeah. Is that what we want to witness for the next few years? What wrong will go on in our community and our leaders will sit back, fold their hands and do nothing? Every day people boast about, oh, Mr. Parker was the financial secretary and our covers went up. Yeah, financial secretary keep records. That credit goes to the waste and means person, not him. That's common logic. That person generated the fund. He just wrote what was brought in. I had the opportunity to talk to the two aspiring. The both of them reached out to me. And I weighed them. And I know what the community needs now is Mr. Philip Logan. Because he's tested. We've seen he has championed the leadership of another organization in our midst and did well. So he has a credential in that field. We don't want our community to be run on popularity contest. I've been saying 1822. Somebody telling me that I should encourage somebody to vote for Fatty because she's popular to the community over Morris Gua, who has an accounting degree for financial secretary. That's misplaced. It is not wise. Every thinking man understand that simple fact. Someone who has the history of running his own business and see it bloom, use the financial skills with his education, have chosen to offer that education, that expertise to this community for us to benefit. But you telling me vote for someone else because they were at every baby shower. But this same person was the Secretary General for a while, and we don't have a tenants record to validate our processes today. But we should give her records of our finances, our dues. Monies we go and stand on our feet or go to places to work hard, pay dues. Give it to somebody because they are popular in the community and shows up at every baby shower. and leave the guy who has the expertise in that field. This is not popularity contest. We need expertise to run our community. Yes, we do. Look, let me talk about Mr. Javon Smith, my vice presidential candidate, because most of the time when the president is not able to lead, the vice president will do something. This guy graduated as a leader from the Marine Corps, as a team lead. Every level of his service at the Marine, he was a leader. He have never sat in a group as a member. That's true leadership. So understand that that kind of person will lead this community because they have been tested, tried with leadership. This community needs trusted leaders. How can you deny a candidate who has a white ballot? How? Denying that candidate is not just denying them, but denying the community. Because you are telling me that though she doesn't have an opponent, but because she is from a particular team, so I can't qualify her because I've already taken a side in this election, even though I am supposed to be the ref. That's denying our community of a religious leader, someone to represent us spiritually. How? Really? Fellow Liberians, have spoken. Not to convince you that the other people are this, or my candidate is that. I've come tonight to speak to your consciousness so that you can make an informed decision on November 5. This is the voice of reasonings. This is the voice of the fights. I've come with truth. This is true sacrifice. I've been on the play for hours. I should have been in class. But I believe that my community is important. Very important. I cannot sit back and do nothing. Because tomorrow, those who sat back and do nothing will be held more responsible. So you can cry all you want. We don't see them to the LAI function. I can tell you for free. Since I moved to this committee, I've been at every independence ball. That's important, not a baby shower. Do our wage job or full-time school or full-time administrative work at my church for a baby shower when I don't have the time. I weigh my priorities. The other day, I asked you, what do you call service? And I asked you the question. You thought, oh, you don't come around. We've been serving. I asked you, do you know how LAI computers get service? I do that in the background without making noise. I serve my community. I don't have to show up to your baby shower. Talking about Bernard, you've been away. And we're where? How have I been away when the last general unity service? I spent all night making sure that there was program. I was on the rain out money, make sure it was printed and served to you. That service to my community through the religious setting. It doesn't have to be a baby shower. Forget all that. Some people got full-time jobs, multiple full-time jobs. So they might not be able to come to a meeting and schedule on Sunday, probably at the only time they got the rest. How do you know that they're in the background and not doing other things for the community? Take, for instance, Mrs. Pilley. Do you know how many people she have mentored through nursing as being a nursing professor in the community? So not attending a baby shower means she been away. She's been serving, but in the background. I understand most of you people have enough time and got more money in the cornerstone of Indiana, so you live on the chat rooms. Some of us read and comment when it's necessary. That's why we want all Liberian involvement. Just by telling someone, where have you been? Push them away if they want to serve. If they have come with a lot of expertise to offer. How? Why drive people away from community service? Because you want to keep it in a low group with few people who have always done this forever. How do we expand to other parts of Indiana, other than Indianapolis? Today, someone comes from South Bend and want to offer a service, you'll be like, where have you been? Do you even live around? Do we even see you? That's the reason we struggle to reach out to people far above, because they claim that you guys go to them during electioneering process, and after election, you guys are ghosts. You can't confine this institution to Indianapolis. It has to grow. It has to grow. LAR must grow. And that is going to happen under Logan's leadership. Vote wisely, vote right. Vote for the voice of reasoning. Vote your consciousness of a trusted leader, a tested leader, people with expertise in a specific area. Because that's what is required from this community. We can have pity parties or popularity contests. We can. We need good leadership. We need servant leaders, not oligarchs. I want to wish you a blessed night. Sleep well. Let this voice marinate, sink into your soul. Wake up tomorrow morning. If somebody had told you something other than what I've said today, think about it. Make a resounding decision for your children. Think. Is my relationship of friendship to the person worth sacrificing the future of this community? How then will I stand up to my children and tell them I voted because this guy was my friend, we went to party together? Or I voted Mr. X because I read his profile. He served as a leader in college. He's brought together young men. And he served, and we've seen his leadership. Talk about a leader who stood up in the face of diversity. COVID. Where was Tim Parker? Where? I can go on and on and on and on. There is passion in standing for what is right. That's why I'm here tonight. I don't regret my time here. I don't regret what I've said tonight. Because I understand the rewards of standing for what is right. This is what I can do for my community. Speaking to the consciousness of electorates to make a resounding decision so that we can have better leadership for this community. Have a blessed night. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bernard Bouple. So, sorry, I just keep laughing because cash flow want to kill me behind this microphone here tonight. He said about Obama Bernard. Later on, he said best me. Oh God, you see her? She not come back again. You say, I salute. Cash flow is so funny. Yeah. So want to say to everybody, want to say thanks to them for joining us and watch up again Saturday. The Logan's Hour going to be on. We'll be bringing the debate live between Team Parker and the EC. So you can watch up for that on Saturday. We're going to be Team Parker against the EC. So want to say to all of my panelists here tonight was a real one. At least we make our points, and I receive some text messages. I will communicate that in our chat room from concerned people in the community as well. So that's also a good response. We will follow all of the advices. We will take all necessary instructions, and the civility of the community matters to us all. So we are not intending to cause any trouble. Our point is do the right thing. Tomorrow, our children will grow up here. We want to see some of them standing for the right thing, not to bow their heads and say, because the person is my friend. Let's do the right thing. So not to eat up the time anymore. We can't read all of the comments, but I want to say thanks to all of those who follow us here. We can't call everybody's name. We've already gone, almost 3 hours, 2 minutes to be 3 hours. So I want to say thanks to everybody, and we see you guys again. We love you. We care about you. Good night.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Bye-bye, everyone. So there you have it, everybody. So we say good night and enjoy yourself. Team Logan said, don't forget.
Indiana people are talking but talking too. The strong of the strike, I may properly do. So all my single mother should be jubilating. Come be some feeling Logan. Don't a real blessing like coming for the people. I'll be getting away. My feeling Logan coming. I'll be getting away. When I see feeling coming, I'll be getting away. My feeling Logan coming. Position getting away. When the king of the jungle not around, all the KK can